Hello everyone. We are often perplexed as an aspirant, a UPSC aspirant, whether we should take the coaching or whether we should do self study. Okay, often this dilemma is there among several other dilemmas that are there in the minds of a civil service aspirant. Let us try to look into this dilemma and see if we can solve this issue towards the end of this video. Now, as far as any aspirant is concerned, several aspirants have different kind of challenges. Okay, some feel that I am from a science or an engineering background, I have not studied history and geography for so many years, or the humanities people say for me csat is very difficult, it's very challenging, I'm not very good with maths or with logical reasoning also for that matter. A commerce student say that I don't know half the subjects because I left them back in class 10. I only am aware of, let's say, economics or some other subjects here and there. But the point we're trying to make here is that your educational background, what you've studied so far, often is more specialized, especially for those who've done their masters or even higher. And it's very difficult to sometimes kind of come back. Okay, this is one very major problem that students face. So because of this, they have a difficulty or they have a challenge in developing clarity. Now, conceptual clarity is so important for the UPSC examination. Okay, developing this conceptual clarity, developing this understanding, the focus on NCRTs, the focus on basics, the focus on referring to some books rather than many books, and doing those some books many number of times to have multiple revisions. These kind of things are some of the very, very basic things as far as the UPSC preparation is concerned. Sometimes developing this conceptual clarity on our own is very, very difficult to develop that orientation. Moreover, as I was telling you, often people use or refer to in their ambition and this drive, and they really fear that they are missing out. They refer to multiple resources without doing any one resource properly. This is also, so basically one of the major problem as before an aspirant are several myths which go around. Okay, which often are there, which sometimes you pick up or sometimes you're not aware also. For example, you have to study for 14 to 16 hours a day, right? There are a lot of these things which essentially kind of go around an aspirant and in the minds of an aspirant, or something that the society has created, that you have to do everything under the sun. I'm sure you would have read this, you would have heard it from someone. Everything under the sun. And that's why people feel, oh my god, UPSC is so tough. Because you don't have the right strategy. And who's going to educate you about these strategies? We're going to come to that very soon. All right. Often people don't really get this, even though you may have, let's say, an understanding of the topics and the subjects. Okay. But you are just unable to crack it because you're just not having the smartness to understand the strategy as to how you have to approach these particular papers. That is why people don't really do in mock tests, don't really do well in mock tests. Some people are very good on an academic side, but they are unable to replicate the same smartness because that same smartness is not required. What you have to study as, let's say, a specialist for a master's or a PhD level is not required for UPSC. It's supposed to be of a generalist standard. Okay, so there are a lot of these things which you just have to get the orientation right. This is not going to happen if you are alone or aloof in your preparation. All right, so often staying in that, like, why do people say, especially these days, that we should send children to school early these days, or for that matter, in a school they really kind of get into little bit of motivated yet competitive, which is also in a good way kind of healthy, and you really get that, okay, this strategy is working for that person, or this person has been able to cover this much. One needs to really, of course, be away from the pressure in terms of unnecessary putting them up. But you cannot work in a vacuum. When you're reading about the newspaper, and that is so important for your examination, you by default are supposed to be in a connected world. So, staying aloof in your preparation, where you have to write about connectiveness, okay, where you have to do the interconnectedness in your main answers, let's say between polity, history, geography, economy, those things cannot operate in being aloof and alone. It is something that has to come. So a lot of the answer, a lot of the problems are going to get solved if you actually take a good coaching institute, where you really get the right kind of guidance, where all these myths of yours are bursted, where you really get a much more logical, reliable, trustworthy advice and guidance. You might just want to ask small and big questions. Okay? You just often, we are so used to that system of being able to ask that teacher. Okay? So we are in that system. That happens in offices as well. You ask your colleagues. Okay? Why is work from home often being a problem with a lot of people, and a lot of them want to come back to office? Because a lot of times you need that understanding, you need to, be with them, you need to be in that environment, you need to speak to them. And even when you're working from home, these meetings really help you to stay connected and stay with them. So these kind of guidance coming from the people who are you have a right kind of idea, the right kind of strategy of exactly something that is extremely important, is what not to study and how much to study. What not to study is sometimes for a lot of people even more important than what to study. By the way, in case you're not aware of what to study, please refer to this book list, so that you are able to really understand and get exactly how much I have to put in that effort. But the point is that leaving out what you really should not be studying is also very, very important. Okay, so that you're not just going into endless resources and not having the time to revise even one subject effectively. Multiple revisions are much more effective than multiple resources. Multiple revisions over multiple resources. That is the key to your preparation. All right, this will also help you, multiple revisions will help you provide conceptual clarity, extremely important for your prelims and mains, and even at the stage of interview, or just gently as a civil servant. Okay, the test series which are being provided by coaching institutes are not just to test you, but they are also your study material. They prepare you well to develop your strategy for the examination. They help you understand where are you lacking. A proper test series discussion can go a really long way in your preparation. It can really help you make or break this exam. All right. Often, a lot of times, these coaching institutes really guide you in the way you have to behave and perform as a civil servant. What is also tested at the level of your essay and also at the level of your ethics paper. How you should be being at your level of, in terms of the mindset approach that one needs to have for this examination. All of that thinking process really comes up at the level of essay and ethics. That is something which also comes out, that is enhanced, that is focused upon by the coaching institutes. One thing for which really coachings extremely help you is how you prepare your interview. The guidance, the DAF, questions on, let's say, hobbies, topics of even how to introduce yourself. By the way, a video of that will also be coming up soon. But the point is that so many of these small and big questions that really come at the stage of interview, it's so very important that people really miss out because they just didn't have the right kind of guidance. We are not in this age right now where guidance is not difficult, where I'm sorry, where guidance is difficult to be found. You can get it online, you can get it offline, but just don't get it wrong after reaching that stage of the examination. I'm sure none of you want to get into that trouble. Also, the techniques which are often really given, personalized techniques, like especially during DAF, okay, or even during hobbies, lot of things which are very particular to you. Okay, so personal sessions as far as the interview is concerned really help you in understanding, okay, this is where I'm coming from, this is the interlinkage between my hobbies and this, or this is what my father's profession is, this is where the state where I come from. Lot of these personalized attention really kind of help you in that interview preparation. One thing which I've been always telling you is that motivation is something which really comes from the peer group. Definitely, the entire process can be extremely overwhelming in terms of the resources to study, the examination, and everything. But through the interactions which you basically have, through sharing of opinion, through group studies, sometimes you basically are able to recollect, remember things much better. Okay, a discussion on the mock tests, which is again very important for both prelims and mains, that as to why did you write this particular answer or why did you tick on this particular option. Just a discussion on that can really help you understand, okay, this is how I should be thinking in that next question, and this is how I should be correcting my mistakes the next time. So discussion is not just only with the solution paper, it's also with the others. At the end of the day, don't forget, it is a competition. Whoever gets to the race faster. Okay, we are looking at really big numbers in lakhs, and you have to, get there faster. So you really have to understand that how are the things around me as well. So staying in a vacuum just might not really help you in that direction, and that is why there are some really good benefits that one can really capitalize upon. Rest, of course, it depends upon your efforts, your revision, your note making, your newspaper reading strategy, and you have to give the exam. But the right guidance, the right catalyst can take you really far in this journey. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you so much.